Ranking member of the full committee, Mr. Larsen, you recognize for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair Webster and Ranking Member Titus, for holding this hearing. The recent rise in pipeline incidents and deaths should be a warning call to this committee. Now, last year in the Northwest, we marked the 25th anniversary of the Olympic pipeline explosion in Bellingham, Washington, an explosion that claimed the lives of 2 10-year-old boys and an 18-year-old young man. The explosion released 237 gallons of gasoline into Whatcom Creek that flowed through Whatcom Falls Park in Bellingham. And so since then, for my entire tenure in Congress, I have fought to reduce the risk of pipeline incidents, promote transparency of pipeline safety information for local communities, and increase accountability for pipeline operators. And progress has been made, but certainly more needs to be done through legislation and rulemaking. PHMSA advanced 2 important rulemakings in December of last year, one on methane leak detection and the other on gaseous carbon dioxide pipeline requirements. The leak detection rule helps reduce pollution, limit unintentional methane leaks, and intentional venting. I want to be clear that President Trump signed this requirement into law in his first term. As well, the 2011 Pipeline Safety Act, passed 13 years ago, first required a carbon dioxide rulemaking. This requirement was made more urgent after a carbon dioxide pipeline ruptured in Mississippi in 2020. These rulemakings will increase safety. They are required by law, and the new administration should now quickly advance them after pulling them back. So they can do work already without us having to do more work. But now I want to turn to deadly accidents. According to PHMSA, in the past 5 years, there have been 3,070 pipeline incidents, killing 58 people, injuring 167 more people, and causing more than $2.3 billion in property damage. The primary reason these incidents occurred was due to material, weld, or equipment failures, all factors primarily within the control of pipeline operators. The NTSB, in addition to doing its great work investigating aviation accidents that we've seen over the last 35 days, has 9 open pipeline safety investigations, including one that launched this past weekend after a Kansas gas pipeline leak and explosion in Hutchinson, Kansas. More people are dying as well. 24 and 23 saw the deadliest pipeline incidents in more than a decade. In March of 2023, a UGI pipeline explosion at a chocolate factory in West Reading, Pennsylvania killed 7 people, injured 11 people, displaced 3 families from a neighboring apartment building, and forced many more people from the area to evacuate. The chocolate factory was not rebuilt, and production has shifted to other facilities, leaving the town of West Reading, population 4,530, without a significant employer that had been in the community for 65 years. And more problems are occurring. There were more incidents in 2024 than there were in 23, including one in my district in late December of 2023. The now BP-owned Olympic Pipeline saw another gas spill in my district. This time, more than 20,000 gallons of diesel spilled near the elementary school in Conway, Washington. Emergency response took more than a year, and still hasn't been completely cleaned up. But more can be done, and we should work quickly to pass a pipeline safety bill similar to the one we passed last Congress. This committee unanimously approved a bipartisan pipeline safety bill that improved transparency by creating an Office of Public Engagement, an idea championed by Representative Strickland. This legislation also required PHMSA to review operator emergency response plans, and more funding will help. PHMSA and state pipeline safety programs need resources and staff to inspect pipelines, conduct investigations when incidents occur, and take appropriate enforcement actions so bad actors are held accountable. Our bill increased the authorizations for both PHMSA and state pipeline safety authorities. We also included $56 million for state pipeline safety programs over 4 years. But I'm troubled by the President's recent efforts to remove people from the jobs that play a critical role to hold pipeline operators accountable for their actions that might harm people. Just as an example, PHMSA assessed a $2 million civil penalty on Denbury Gulf Coast Pipelines and its contractor Republic Testing Laboratories for obstructing PHMSA safety inspectors from observing pipeline repairs and verbally and physically assaulting PHMSA safety inspectors. Employees of these 2 companies physically prevented a PHMSA safety inspector from questioning a welder, held up a screen to prevent a PHMSA safety inspector from observing a weld, and prevented a PHMSA safety inspector from photographing test equipment. These repairs were being conducted to replace the carbon dioxide pipeline that ruptured in Satarsha, Mississippi, that sent 45 people to the hospital in 2020. Denbury's behavior towards PHMSA safety inspectors, the administration's efforts to cut staff from the Office of Pipeline Safety, and to cut funding for grants that Congress itself, we all, mandated, including PHMSA's technical assistance grants, put communities at risk nationwide. Let's put safety in America first. Now, Congress has recognized that improving safety requires strong regulation and funding support. The BIL created the first ever natural gas distribution infrastructure safety and modernization grant program. And last May, PHMSA announced $196 million for 60 publicly owned utilities to repair or replace natural gas pipelines. This investment will reduce incidents and improve safety. We should keep it going. Pipelines play a critical role in the daily lives of Americans. We are here today to make sure the National Pipeline Safety Pipeline Network safely delivers energy across the country. I look forward to today's discussion and thank each of the witnesses today for your testimony.